What's up, everybody? We are here now. I believe it's week 7 of the NFL season already. So sad that it's going so fast, but hopefully you've had a good year so far when it comes to DFS and fantasy, and hopefully we can help providing you with some of that knowledge, some of that information that will help you win those games with week to week, DraftKings, FanDuel, season long, whatever it might be. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Really helps us out on the video. Please subscribe to the channel as well, as we have both NFL and college content coming at you every single week. Planning to add more as well as we get into other sports here coming up. But let's go ahead and rock and roll. We're going to do a few different things this week. Normally we have our big long show where we kind of break down everything. Due to some schedules and some conflicts, we're just going to hit you individually with our favorite plays on the slate. So without further ado, I am strategy-wise this week. I think it's really tough to pay up at quarterback because there are so many great freaking plays at both running back and wide receiver that are expensive that I want to get to. So I'm going to be taking some shots on Mahomes. I'm going to be taking some shots on Lamar, maybe Josh Allen if the weather holds up. Herbert possibly. Like, obviously those guys are all amazing plays, but my overall strategy, my core lineups this week, I will be paying down at quarterback. In order, kind of my favorites, I would say Stafford, 6,500. Love this play. They're at home. I know Pittsburgh has, a good defense and everything, but Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, those guys are just absolute monsters when it comes to targets. You got a very clear path and stacking options of where you want to go. With this backfield even more muddied up, I only love it even more. I'm sure Pittsburgh is going to be ready for it, but there's no way to stop Cooper Kupp in this league. There's just not. We have too big of a sample size now. I love the fact that Stafford is fairly cheap on this, 6,500. Again, very clear stacking options. I love it quite a bit. Stafford is going to be my top quarterback on the slate this week. Moving on down, we start to get into some plays that I don't feel great about, but I'm rolling with it. Jordan Love. I know he's going to get some ownership. The spot is just too good, man. Denver's defense is so bad. We've seen every quarterback and every offense pretty much top to bottom light these guys up every week here. I love the fact that he's probably getting Aaron Jones back. We'll talk about that when we get to the running back spot, but I think that eliminates teams being able to just focus really on the pass and game plan for Jordan Love. They're going to have to allocate quite a bit of resources for Aaron Jones. I think that opens up some really big plays for Jordan Love and his weapons this week. Moving down, Sam Howell. Sam Howell, I think, is a guy that could very much exploit this New York Giants defense. I know they played a little bit better against Buffalo last week, but this defense is not good. They're going to get to Sam Howell. They're going to sack him because everybody sacks Sam Howell. But 5,500, again, kind of playing into the theme of my week here, he's just cheap, and his weapons are cheap. It gets a bad team. I love the spot for Sam Howell. I'll be playing quite a bit of him this week, no doubt. And then Jared Goff. Everybody's flocking, it seems like, to Lamar Jackson on this side of the ball, and whereas I don't disagree that Baltimore's got a fairly disruptive defense, I think Jared Goff is playing out of his mind right now. I know there's the narrative, and I didn't play him last week for this, that Jared Goff on the road, outdoors, is not as efficient. He's not as good. It's just not been true this year, man. He is averaging 25 DraftKings points a week almost. He has very clear stacking options with the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. You take David Montgomery out of the mix here. It's the same situation for me as the Rams. I love the spot for Jared Goff. I think he's going to have to throw it quite a bit because I do think Baltimore scores here. I love Jared Goff. So those are kind of my 4 favorites: Stafford, Goff, Howell, and Love. I will be taking some shots again on Mahomes. I will be taking some shots on Lamar Jackson. I think he's in a good spot. I just haven't been overly impressed that he needs to kind of go nuclear to win games. I think he's finding that out, and it makes him a better quarterback, right? He doesn't have to get all crazy with the ball, throwing it all down the field and everything. So I like Lamar. I don't love Lamar. I'll be taking some shots on Geno Smith. I think the spot is fantastic against Arizona. If he's ever going to do it, he's been really bad this season. It's going to be this week. We'll see what his weapons look like in terms of health, but Obviously, DK Metcalf banged up. Tyler Lockett's questionable. He'll always play. So we got to keep an eye on that. But Geno Smith, I think, is interesting. And then a play that Jim mentioned that I also had on my sheet, so I feel a little bit better about it, is Kenny Pickett. If you think that the Rams score some points here, which I think they do, Kenny Pickett is going to have to throw the football, and he should be getting back his other favorite weapon this week in Deontay Johnson at a flat 5K. Again, it's another very cheap stack, that a game environment that they should be pushing and scoring points here, and allows you to get some of these bigger name guys and plays into your lineup. So I like Kenny Pickett quite a bit as well. And then the dirty one, the dirty play of the week. If he's playing, I'm going to take some chances on Daniel Jones. His rushing upside's too good. He's got Saquon Barkley back, which he always produces a little bit better with, obviously, like every quarterback would. Yeah, I think you could go very clearly Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Waller. You could even do a Wan'Dale Robinson if you want, but his rushing upside's there. And I think the one thing to consider is Washington's defense has just been absolutely gashed with plays over 20 yards this year. So big play opportunities will be there. The big question is, can Daniel Jones just stay on his feet? Can that offensive line hold up a little bit? If so, I think he's a fine play here. But that's kind of my quarterback player pool. I know the guys would laugh their ass off because I have, it seems like every quarterback on the slate I'm going to take some shots on, but I'm a little bit less convinced at the quarterback position as always, and more convinced here at the running back receiver position. So let's jump to that. I love Austin Eckler at 7% ownership, or under 10 at least, 8,600 if you can get there. I think it's a very clear pivot off of Keenan Allen if you want to go that way and get a piece of that game. Saquon Barkley, I love this play. 8,100. He is going to come in sub 10% as well. Gets you off major chalk. Yes, he's expensive, but he's just as much of a bell cow back as Josh Jacobs, who everybody loves, and Kenneth Walker, who everybody loves. Yes, you're paying up another $800, something like that. But I think both of those guys are in really great positions this week if you want to get a little bit different. Josh Jacobs and Kenneth Walker, they're going to be the chalk on the slate, but rightfully so. They're both in fantastic matchups. Josh Jacobs, I think he's a really good play against this Bears defense. I'm just a little bit unconvinced. Raiders going west to east usually never plays well. Let me just preface everything with that. So be a little bit cautious with that play. I also think not having Jimmy G, depends who's going to be taking snaps there at quarterback. So I don't know, man. Everyone's loving Josh Jacobs. I understand it. I totally get it. But there's something there that doesn't feel quite right. I would absolutely 1,000% play Saquon Barkley or Kenneth Walker over Josh Jacobs this week. Maybe I get cold takes exposed, on Monday for that saying that, but that's just how I feel as of Friday afternoon. Going down, I have a lot of interest in Aaron Jones if he's ready to rock and roll. The guy is the absolute focal point of that offense. I just talked about how absolutely poor that Denver defense is. If he's going to be a sub 10% ownership, I will have a ton of Aaron Jones this week. Another guy that is coming in low owned, who has not been great the last couple of weeks, is James Cook. I like this play quite a bit. I think we know the Patriots defense is not what it used to be. It's not quite as good, obviously. We also are going to expect some weather in that Buffalo Patriots game. So I think James Cook gets fed a little bit more, and he's a little bit bigger part of the game plan for sure this week. Jahmyr Gibbs at 6,300. I think you have to consider. David Montgomery's out this week. They're going to need Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, they just will to win this game. I don't know what that means, right? I don't know if he's going to be involved in the passing game, if they're going to get him 10 touches, 20 touches. I'm not really sure, but I'll take some shots on him for sure at 6,300. If it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen in a game like this, in my opinion. Going down, Isaiah Pacheco. How could you not like him? He's coming in as potentially the most chalky play on the slate, but I think he's in a fantastic spot. I love him. I don't care about that chalk. I'll be eating it. Another guy or two guys below 6K, I think you could take some shots on. Brian Robinson, 5,800 for the Commanders. We talked about how bad the New York Giants defense is. If he can get you 12, 15 plus touches in this one, I think he definitely pays off and hits value. So I like that play a bit. And then you've got Jerome Ford at 5,100. 12% ownership, 14% ownership or so. We'll monitor the news for Kareem Hunt, but I think he's in a really good spot here. 15, 17 touches you could probably expect at this price tag. I definitely like that. Moving over to receivers, like always, I don't think we really need to talk about the top guys. Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think those guys are all awesome plays. If you can get there and it fits your game stack or if it's your, whatever, I don't mind any of those plays whatsoever. Puka Nacua, 7,600. I'll be definitely taking my shots. As I mentioned, I like the Rams offense quite a bit. Mike Evans, I think, is always in play at 7,100. DK Metcalf at 6,800. So on it. He is really banged up, and I'm fearful if they get ahead in this game, they may not need to use him as much. We'll see what happens there with the injury report. If he misses, Jackson Smith-Njigba becomes a fantastic play on the slate. So just keep an eye out for that. I think he's like 38 or 3,900. Jacoby Myers, 62. Okay. I think, you could do better. Amari Cooper is the guy that I think you could do better with at 6,100. He's just getting Deshaun Watson back, who just feeds him left and right. The Colts don't have anybody to really stop him in the passing game. I think Amari Cooper is a very safe play, 15 to 20 points expected on Sunday, in my opinion. The one guy I think can be the X factor of the slate, and it's my bold call of the week, is Tyler Lockett. We've seen Tyler Lockett break slates in the past. I think this would be the absolute perfect spot for him to do it. While everybody is flocking to Keenan Allen, Travis Kelce in that game, at the same exact time up in the Pacific Northwest, Tyler Lockett just absolutely blows everyone out of the water with 2-3 scores in a massive game against a poor Arizona Cardinals defense. So at 6K, Tyler Lockett is my favorite GPP player of the week. Boom. Moving down. Zay Flowers, 5,700. Good play. He's going to be chalky. Keep an eye on that and just keep that in mind when you're building your lineups with him, but he's a great play. Christian Watson at 5,600 is another guy I have a lot of interest in this week. We talked about me liking Jordan Love. Obviously, yes, Christian Watson will be a part of that. George Pickens, I think him and Deontay Johnson should definitely be considered at 5,500 and 5K. Got to assume they're trailing in this one, I think. So I think they're very smart, good game environments, good opportunity share. I think both guys are good plays here. Terry McLaurin at 5,400 is a crime. Definitely will be firing him up as much as I possibly can this week. Hollywood Brown at 5,300. His target share is just insane, man. 5,300. He's getting like 10, 11, 12 targets a game. He's going to be owned. No doubt about it. He's kind of what everyone's hoping he can put out is kind of an Adam Thielen type week. If you think that's the kind of play that he is, I would definitely lock him in at 5,300. Drake London's been fantastic lately at 5,100. I like him a lot. I think Josh Palmer and Rashee Rice there at 47 and 4,800 definitely have to be considered. And they could be alternative ways to get off some of the chalk in that Chargers and Chiefs game. Kendrick Bourne, kind of the de facto number one in New England, just they don't have anybody else. Again, monitor weather there. I'll like this play quite a bit more if the weather is going to be okay, as they should be trailing Buffalo in this one. Curtis Samuel's been fantastic for the Commanders, 4K. He is going 12, 15-plus points in the last couple of games on DraftKings. If he can maintain that, 4K is an absolute steal. Same with Wan'Dale Robinson, 3,800. Slot receiver for the Giants. He's kind of turned into their main pass catching option there, mainly because the offensive line can't block. Danny Dimes has to get that ball out quick. So Wan'Dale, I'm firing him up again. And then I think two cheap receivers that you can consider on the other side of that Seattle matchup are both Michael Wilson, 3,800, and Rondale Moore at 3,500. Again, it's game environment. They're going to be trailing. They're going to have to throw the football. It's happened every game this year pretty much. Both guys are in play if you need a punt option there. I mentioned Jackson Smith-Njigba. Keep an eye on that one. Very much falls into that category if DK Metcalf is really banged up or does not play especially. So that's kind of my receiver pool this week. Tight ends, don't need to talk about Travis Kelce. I'm not going to have nearly as much as him as I would say I'd like. He's just so expensive, man. And I look at the plays and You've got Puka Nacua. You've got, if he's going to be your flex option, you've got Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Saquon Barkley right there in the same price range. I just think those guys are safer, man. Derwin James scares me a little bit for the Chargers. I don't know. I just don't know with Travis Kelce. He has not been the same kind of guy as he has last year or years past. At 23% ownership at that price tag, I don't know, man. I'm going to take quite a bit of stance here and fade him in a lot of lineups. I will have some legit game stacks, like I mentioned with the Chiefs, but I think he's the guy. If you're going to leave someone out that's high priced that you want to get off of, I think he's mine. I think that's where I'm going this week, or going off of, I should say. Mark Andrews at 5,700, I think has the same production potential as Travis Kelce at a significant discount, 2,300 less. And then if you want to pay down, I think you can look at Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, Michael Mayer, or Trey McBride. All those guys are salary savers. All of them are going to be under 10% ownership. And I think could definitely get you, 7 to 10 points, and you just move on to the next play. Defense-wise, Commanders I have some interest in. The Browns I have some interest in. I think Detroit and Baltimore both I have interest in just because of – I think that game's a little bit more of a phone booth fist fight than people think. But, yeah, I think both defenses are totally fine. Both can create turnovers and sacks, so I like that. Yeah, that's kind of my player pool this week, guys. Again, top stacks for me, Rams, Lions, Chiefs, Packers, and the Commanders, with taking shots on Pickett and Daniel Jones and Lamar and Geno Smith, as gross as that is. So that's where we're at. And my bold call of the week, once again, is Tyler Lockett. While everybody's watching this Chiefs-Chargers game and expecting this one to shoot out, I think Tyler Lockett is the guy you need in your lineups at $6K that's going to bust this thing wide open. Maybe a sneaky play. Get Tyler Lockett in there with Keenan Allen. Get him in there with Travis Kelce if you can make that work. Just throwing that out there. Good luck, everyone, this weekend. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe button if you can, and good luck. Talk to you later.